This is E.Wilson, the Conversator from the JTC Exchange radio show, coming to you live from the JTC Exchange headquarters in Bedford, Texas. And I'm sitting here with my man, Frankie Wilson, from Inside Gospel Online radio show host extraordinaire, 2013 Stellar Award winner. Frankie, welcome again to the JTC Exchange radio show, man.
Thank you so much for having me here again, man.
Yes, sir.
Blessed to be here.
Yes, sir. Absolutely, absolutely. And you know, Frankie, you know, we've been talking about the importance of a father. You know, you kind of been keeping up with the JTC Exchange, that we've been making this move to bring awareness to the importance of men. Not that we are to replace women, but the importance of men in the home. So, Frankie, you know, we've been talking about the prisons. There's more prisons and more males, especially African-American males, in prison they are in college. You know, the numbers are just staggering.
Right.
And when we get down to the bottom of the Tootsie Roll Pop, we're finding out that the men, the fathers in these young men's lives have not been around. How important, Frankie, is it to have fathers, men, mentors in our lives?
Well, you know what? First off, thank you for asking the question. Thank you so much for this platform through the JTC Exchange and the things that you do, because they make such a big impact on such a massive level. And so I thank God for you in the JTC Exchange and what God gave you through the JTC Exchange. When I think about how important it is to have a father, and I use myself personally as my the best example that I can just say that, you know, first off, I'm blessed to have my father in my life still to this day. In fact, he turned 60 this year, you know, and I'm proud to be able to say that. I asked him, what do you want for your birthday this year? He said to get to be 61.
Another birthday.
That was it.
Yes, sir.
I love my dad, man.
Yes,
but, you
sir.
know, when I think about my father and I think about the man that I am today, I wouldn't be who I am today. Wouldn't walk the way I walk, wouldn't talk the way I talk, literally, even dress the way I dress had it not been for what I saw. I have a saying, you know, I'm a member of Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity, and we do a lot of work. One of our national partners is Big Brothers Big Sisters. So we do a lot of work with them. One of the sayings that we say very often with Big Brothers Big Sisters is, in order for a child to be a man, he has to first see a man. Right? I saw a man in my father, so much to where I didn't realize it when I was a child, but I used to mimic him all the time in school, dressing, you know, dressing up when everyone else was dressing down, walking with a briefcase in middle school. You know, in 6th and 7th grade, I got a briefcase and made no sense to anybody else, but it was what I saw my dad with all the time, and I don't even think he knew that at the time that I would do it. I would take his old briefcases. He didn't realize.
There wasn't no money in there, was it, Frank?
There wasn't no money in there, unfortunately. He taught me to make money on my own.
Smart man, you know, smart man.
Yeah, but there are so many things that I learned from my dad. That, you know, my mother, and I love my mom, she's been so integral in my life as well, but there's some things, some straight up conversations that I had with him that taught me what it means to really be a man, that helped me to take pride in being a man. Like, literally, you know, there are some people that just say I'm a man, and there are some people that say I am a man. You know, it means two different things, you know, depending on what it means to you. But you get that from your father. You know, you get that from those male figures that are the strongest in your life. So, yeah, I mean, towards the development of any young boy, you know, the having a father there has got to be one of the most important things in him learning his identity.
Absolutely.
You know, as a man.
Absolutely. So with that being said, Frankie, so important for his development, the identity. What do you say to those men out there who are saying, Frankie, I understand what you're saying, and I'm doing all of that, but I'm not seeing the fruits of what I put in them. They're not turning out the way I thought they would, and I've seen the bad examples, and I know other kids who have bad examples, and my kids are kind of falling in those same footsteps. What do you say to that man to understand that he's not wasting his time and that quitting is not an option?
A question. Two things. The first thing, don't stop doing your job. Don't ever get off of your post just because it looks like right now in front of you they're not turning out the way you thought they would. And my parents might not like for me to say this, but I was a problem child, in my opinion.
Gotcha.
All I did was get into fights all the time. I got into fights all the time. I talked too much, apparently, from what they tell me. I don't know. You know, maybe God was trying to show them then I needed to be in radio.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But, you know, that was all I did, man. I used to fight. I used to hustle, not drugs or whatnot, but all sorts of stuff, you know, just, you know, and I'm certain that the way I was acting as a child was not the way my parents planned or were pleased with all the time. But they never left their post in being parents. And that's the other thing as well. Don't stop being a parent as well. You know, I'm friends with my parents now, even though they are still, and I still love and respect them as my parents. There has to be a level of respect. You know, parents are there, you know, to hold their children accountable, to be responsible for their children, and to help raise them in a way that they should go. Understand that if God entrusted you to have a child and blessed you to have a child, that means that I believe you know, and I've given you what you need to know in order to direct this child in the way to go. So, you know, a lot of times you have parents, and I know some of them that say, well, I like to let them decide on their own and choose their own way and all that good stuff, and you know, for their own independent development, you know, they have to have a sense of their own identity. They need to know how to make their own decisions, but you're there to help guide them. You know, not there to help watch them get to the edge or let them fall off the cliff and then help them after the fact. Because you could have helped to avoid that altogether. You know, so don't get off your post just because it seems, that don't stop being a parent first, above and beyond anything else. And I promise you the results are going to turn out in your favor for your child.
Wow, well, you heard that right here from Frankie Wilson. Stay on your posts. Don't stop doing what you're doing. There's power in consistency.
There you go.
And you really have no option, because if you stop paying now, you're going to pay later, you know, and usually later costs more than now. Go ahead.
You know what? Let me say this. How many days does it take to form a habit? 21 days. If you have up to 21 years with a child and you are really, really focused on raising them in a certain way, how long do you think it's going to take before they habitually start acting and conducting themselves like a man or an adult? Right? So why give up and so soon? If it only takes 21 days to form a habit, then start them on the path of forming all of these correct habits that only you know for them that's right for them to form.
Absolutely. That was good, Frankie. And to add to that, to know that once you create the pattern for them, you can't force them to follow in that pattern, but you are required to at least create that pattern for them so that they do have an option. And I think, Frankie, where we really suffer is that when we give up and we quit, we're usually giving the kids just one option, and that option is usually not a positive one. It's that of negative, because as you know, there's more negative out here than positive. Are we right on that, Frank?
You're absolutely right about that. From what you were saying in the beginning with, you know, our kids, not more kids being in jail than being in college, and even more kids. This hurts, but honestly, I believe it was just a year ago, I was watching a documentary Mario Van Peebles put together with several other cast members, Sean John and all of those, and it was about the dropout rates in high schools, and particularly with minorities, 50%. We're down to 50%. How is that possible? How did we get here? And again, the one commonality that these kids had was fatherless homes. You know, they're not even, 50% of them aren't even making it to be able to make a choice to go to college. So we're already, you know, half the way, you know, defeated. But we can change it.
Yes, we can.
And, you know, I want to make sure the fathers out there, and even the mothers, to have good faith in the male figures and the male role models. We can change this pattern. It's not too late. But you have to make up in your mind you're going to do what it takes, and you're going to stand up, be a man, be a woman for that child and for yourself. Just the same, and for our future.
Well, what Frankie just said, you know, we have to stand up. We have to be accountable. We can't give up. And it's not too late. So don't let the statistics, the news, or anything else that you've been watching discourage you from staying in the game and getting to the point where you say that, you know what, it doesn't even matter what I do, what I say. You know, it's too messed up out here anyway. You know, that is not the reality. There's always hope, and we can do it together. So for those who need some inspiration or some encouragement, you need to get a hold of the JTC Exchange, www.jtcexchange.org. We are big on families, we're big on marriage, and we're definitely big on men and women being the best that you can be for your children, because all of our futures depend on it. So this is E.Wilson, the Conversator. Frankie, again, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom, knowledge, and understanding on the JTC Exchange radio show.
Bless you, man. Thank you so much for having me here again. It's always a pleasure being
Absolutely.
here.
Frankie Wilson, Stellar Award winner 2013, right here at the JTC Exchange headquarters in Bedford, Texas. Remember, if you're going to have a conversation, make it a good one. We're out.